Get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers?
By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast, an exclusive here on WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and each week here on Voice of Wayne America, we sit down with somebody who has some kind of connection to the community and talk about their field of interest and how it all ties in with the best town in all of Nebraska, if not all of America. And that, of course, is right here in Wayne America. I want to thank our sponsors for the program, including AKA 142 Media. Your business can also be mentioned here. Just send me an email at mike@mikeycproductions.com for more information. You know, when you look up the word entrepreneur in the dictionary, it's generally defined as a person who starts, organizes, and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. Joining us this week on Voice of Wayne America is one half of a duo here in the community who is really taken if you could make a local version of Webster's Dictionary and you needed a picture for the word entrepreneur, these two guys' faces would be the mugshots you'd see under the word entrepreneur. Lucas Rix and Mark Kanitz, owners of Rustic Treasures and a couple other businesses here in town that we'll talk about, and they would be the runaway definition of the word entrepreneur in a Wayne version of Webster's Dictionary. And with us here today, because Lucas is busy getting the 1912 Emporium ready for the grand opening, Mark Kanitz is here and sat down with us to chat a little bit about the business community. And it's really kind of neat. You guys started with Rustic Treasures here about 5 years ago and have just kind of evolved from, I guess, across the street to the east and then down south and now to the west. It's really kind of neat how you guys have put this all together. Take us back to when you guys first started with the idea for Rustic Treasures. What was the thinking when you started up this business, and what made you think that something like this would work here in Wayne America?
You know, the first story that kind of got me, Lucas always loved garage sailing, loved heading down to Fremont. They had great garage sales there, and Wayne kind of have a good garage sale market, but it just wasn't like there was a huge secondhand market kind of in Wayne, so it was kind of a little niche market that wasn't really being tapped, and we knew that price point would be great for college kids in a college community. So our initial thought was, college community, secondhand store, there is none, let's start. And so we got talking to like Wes Blakey over at the chamber office and said, hey, I'm interested in a building. And when he first started the building in Lyons, Nebraska, he had a Rustic Treasures with his aunt there and ran that. They did clothing and household items, and we don't do the clothing now, but back then they did, and you could buy buildings in Lyons for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a piece on their Main Street. Well, those don't come for that price in Wayne. So we had a little bit of sticker shock. Getting into a facade on Main Street was hard, but we worked with Diane Leidy on her old gift shop across the street from us here at the Coffee Shoppe, and she gave us some great words of wisdom. On that Mother's Day we moved in, she said, be kind to your out-of-towners. They will treat you right. And that is, we definitely like catering for the Wayne community, but our out-of-towners who travel here and get in those cars, and as soon as they're in the car to come shopping, they are ready to come and shop. So we definitely know we cater to a Wayne audience, but it's definitely even our out-of-towners that are here more often.
Yeah. It started at Rustic Treasures over across the street in what is now, I think it's called Jason Sears Flooring is what it's called now. And I know it didn't take very long for you guys to really outgrow that and move. You had to kind of move things across the street here.
I think we were in that first floor for maybe like not even a year, and then the second floor had some debunked kind of apartments up there, so we kind of ransacked the place, pulled everything out, and just made a big wide open sales floor, which was great. We loved the space, but to get up there you had to take these old rickety metal stairs out in the cold of the winter, and you could kind of see through the stairs and the architecture of the building of it. So customers didn't take to that kindly, but we talked to Cap and Anna Peterson and said, hey, whenever you're ready to be out of that Antiques on Main building, the old Ben Franklin store, let us know. Just kind of put a bug in their ear. And then one day Cap shows up and says, hey, let's talk, kind of on a whim. And so we came over, and I think Nana made us some sandwiches, and we chatted for about an hour and a half, talked about antique business in Wayne and what they had done, what we were doing, and how that would work, and kind of passing the torch on to us, which they were very graceful in doing, and got ourselves in the building across the street. I think our opening day was the day the Pilgrim tornado happened. We had a grand opening that morning. Our first day, we didn't have the actual ribbon cutting that day, but we had an early close up that day about 3 o'clock when the tornadoes came through, and I'll never forget that day. And then kind of expanded from there. And then, Capanana owned the building here where the coffee shop sits, and they said, hey, are you interested in taking that on too? They had lots of properties willing to pass those on now, and there was a nice little doorway built between the businesses, and we thought that'd be a great kind of accessory attachment for out-of-towners. When you come, you're hungry, where do you go to eat? You just come right through the doors, and you can grab a latte, grab a Danish or something, and keep shopping and keep it around for a little longer. So that kind of gets us into the coffee shop history here too. Yeah,
I guess you guys started out with the secondhand store concept, and then the coffee store opportunity came open. That's probably a whole new world for you guys. Right?
Nothing about coffee except for some silly iced coffees at McDonald's that we'd gotten ourselves addicted to. But then we tried our own version of iced coffees with the cold brew, and now I'll never go back. But yeah, we took on the coffee shop here from Kathy Varley, who had it like 6 years before us, and she'd done a good business here, and so we kind of revamped things that were here, changed up the menu a little bit, but kept the same premise: coffee and sandwiches and soups, and a light menu, and just a place to meet.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they make a tremendous caramel latte. I every time I come here, I gotta have one of those things. That's, you want to talk about addictions. That's the one I've got here. So not long ago, you guys, the Dollar General store used to be downtown in the corner there on 2nd and Main Street there across from State Nebraska Bank, and then they moved to a new space out on the west edge of town. That place kind of sat empty for a while. Yeah. And there was another dollar store that came in there that was there and gone within about the span of about a year. And I know that you guys were doing so well here at Rustic Treasures, and it was getting kind of tight. It was tight corners here, and that opportunity came up. Talk a little bit about how that happened.
We talked with the Lay family, specifically Matt, over at State Nebraska Bank, and said, hey, what's the opportunity for us getting in that space? And it's a huge space, and I'm sure there's a great retailer that wants to come in, and there hadn't been any interest for a little while, so we kind of made a deal on that, and were able to kind of expand into more of a discount realm. So when people would drop off at Rustic, they'd say, if you can't sell these things here on consignment because they're a little lackluster, or they're a little dinged up, or a leg's missing off of a table, they would say, well, just give it to Goodwill, just take it somewhere. Well, we didn't have that here in town. So there was another niche market where we were in a little more of a middle range price point kind of consignment shop, and so we thought, well, we could really move all of our quarter, 50-cent kind of things, or stuff that might have been sitting for $5 for the last 6 months that hadn't been touched, and the consignor wasn't going to care what they got. They were just happy to see it gone. But we still knew somebody would pay me $1 to get it off our hands. So instead of throwing that all away, and we're all about being green and recycling, we created a whole store out of that. So the things are definitely interesting down there, but if you're a Pinterest fanatic and looking for something to paint or redo, that's definitely a store to go to when you're on a tight budget and you want to make something your own. That you can add a lot of sweat equity into the things you can find down there.
Definitely. And the one thing about that business that I like that you guys I guess have made known with Thrift Warehouse is the fact that you donate a portion of the of your profits to the from that to the community in some way, shape, or form. What I guess a lot of businesses will help out a community project or something like that. But why is that specifically, I guess, part of that that concept there?
It really needed to be part of the concept because I definitely wanted the consigners to realize that we weren't just eating all the profits ourselves down there. Granted, we have a full-time manager down there and two part-time, one part-time college student, one who just graduated, who's now actually full-time with us a couple days ago. So we support two full-time people with jobs in this community, rent an empty storefront on Main Street, create sales tax out of there, and then from the extra additional funds that we don't spend on rent and payroll and things, we can give those money back to the community efforts. So we're always getting asked from post-prom, not even necessarily in Wayne, but Winside, Laurel, all the surrounding communities, to donate towards things. We're like, what, we could do some of that out of that building there. So once you get that buy-in from the customer saying, I don't want you just to make all the money for it. Like you hear about the CEOs of Goodwill in Omaha and those big stories that have come out. It's nice to keep those monies a little more local versus taking it back out of town to a Goodwill in Norfolk or Sioux City. So we created that for us here in town so that we can give back to local efforts. And then, us as a staff really get to chime in on where we think the money should kind of go. And we don't have a real official process with it yet. But I think as time goes on, there'll be a lot more money to be shelling out down there.
What are some of the projects you guys have donated to with that?
There's been the backpack program that they're starting, I think, maybe in Allen, Nebraska. We've made a few donations towards that. I just wrote some checks for post-prom things, so you'll see some coffee shop gift certificates coming from there. So those money's out of Thrift Warehouse to help to make those donations. Let's see. I think we were looking for a Habitat for Humanity one we've done. We've helped out the Pride Group out at Wayne State. They have a drag show they put on every year. It's a fun cultural event for the community, so we gave some money towards that, but that's near and dear to our hearts. And lots of smaller things. So not like huge things. We're making $1,000 donations here and there. We'd like to kind of spread it out. So $400 was certainly a big one, but it may just come in a $50 gift card. And then certainly from that store too, we made connections with around the community, even local churches, if there's somebody in need, like they just need some pots and pans, so they've gone through a house fire or just a traumatic experience. They can come down there and we'll give them a voucher for X amount of value of things. They can just hit up our kitchen section and restock their home if they need. So we help out in those ways too, that don't necessarily get publicly noticed that way, because I don't think they're looking for recognition that way, but we do those efforts too.
Yeah, and you mentioned that. I was doing a little research beforehand, and I remember reading a story about you said that you were opening up the new store, the new Rustic Treasures next door here. We're sitting here at the coffee shop right now, by the way, and I think it was right around the time of the Pilger tornado, and I don't know that I think in both during the Wayne tornado before that, and then the Pilger tornado, your store really kind of came in handy for a lot of people who were all of a sudden looking for furniture for stuff to replace what they'd lost.
Oh, it was an interesting time. In the Wayne tornado, it was October 5th or something.
October 3rd, yeah, or 4th. October 4th.
It was in October. It was getting cold. I remember it was a very cold day, and the tornado had come through, and we'd heard, and then we're getting calls. We had a close friend, Jason Berlman, and her friend worked for us, and here we are sitting at the store. Tons of people bringing drop-offs in a Rustic, and they have these plastic tubs that they just love to bring their stuff in because they have them sitting around at home, and they always say, well, I'll take them back, but just set them back for me in the basement. So here we have this literal graveyard of probably 50, 60, just 30-gallon totes in the basement of the old Rustic Treasures. So we load those all up in a pickup truck and vans and whatever we could. And that same day, we took all those out and helped Jason with some of the pack up in her house, because even after the tornadoes came through, I think there were some storms that came through later on that night, so things need to be packed up fairly quick. So that was a very specific situation where I know we helped out, and I know there's multitude other ways that people were utilizing the businesses in that time too.
Yeah, and I know we see a lot of college kids that come through here and pick up a chair or a couch or something like that. So it's
just the actual thing for apartments. It's amazing when May comes around and the freshmen are moving off campus and they're just excited to start getting their houses made, and they don't have a ton of cash to get going, but these places really fit that bill for them, where they can buy a $10 chair and get a table set for maybe $150, and they're not buying something brand new. They can pass them to somebody else or bring it back to resell. You bet.
We're talking with Mark Kanitz of Rustic Treasures, also with the Thrift Warehouse, the 1912 Emporium, Coffee Shoppe. That's a number of businesses here in town. I at this point, they may just own downtown here before it's all said and done, because they've just done a fantastic job of revitalizing the community here. We'll talk more with him here shortly. But first off, there's a question that's always at least asked of me, and that is, what does the AKA in AKA 142 Media stand for? And it stands for many things, but the most important part is that AKA 142 Media provides awesome kickin' apps that can be downloaded to your phone or your tablet, whether it's your school, your favorite youth sports program, or local business. AKA 142 Media can build an awesome kickin' app that meets your needs. Drop Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com. Tell him that Mike sent you, because he doesn't have enough work to do as it is, so he can always use more work. That's AKA 142 Media, awesome kickin' apps, and I know that once he hears that, he'll really appreciate that. So back with Mark Kanitz here on the program here on Voice of Wayne America. I know that recently you and Lucas bought the old City Hall building downtown by the post office, and have turned that building into something that's I went in there the other day and checked it out, and it looks amazing with what you guys have done with that place. And talk about the process of buying that building from the city and making that into the 1912 Emporium.
It's very funny, because it's definitely in our footprint of downtown, so we like that. And there'd be a few times we'd be walking to the post office or back to our house, which happens to be around the corner a little bit, and go past the building and kind of see the sad building sitting there just begging to be redone. There's windows that need to be reopened back up, and lighting needs to be added and cleaned up. And so the community theater, we had lots of good friends on that board, and they had some future plans of the building to maybe do like a kind of a studio theater, and that had kind of fallen by the wayside and had been used for storage facilities. So we kind of made an offer and said, hey, would you be willing to take some cash, maybe build another building somewhere else, or start another equity fund with some cash from us if we buy the building from you, and then we could use it for a retail establishment in the footprint of downtown, and maybe you could take the storage outside of the downtown kind of shopping area. So that all kind of panned out real well. Worked with them. got started right away in July of this last year. It's hard to believe it's almost been a year now, in those hot July days, tearing lath and plaster out of the ceiling. And Iowa was gracious enough that I got to be here at Rustic in air conditioning, helping out with that. But Lucas and his younger cousin from college were the ones tearing out a lot of that stuff and doing the grimy work in the summer. And had another gentleman from town help take some metal and recycle out there. So once we had the building all cleared out, we had glass edge over from Norfolk. We completely replaced all the windows. We did a lot of that so we could get that job done, and then a coat of paint and lots of cleaning, and here we are, a few more screws and nails, and we've got a retail establishment. So added some great lighting in there, some fun shiplap wall. Everybody's talking about shiplap these days, thanks to the Gaineses in Waco, Texas, and cool cement floors, white and gray washed walls, and just a nice rehab building, and full of some vintage finds with some new merchandise. So this is kind of new for us, actually buying into merchandise, and we've had some great success with buying in some things. And like you said, Lucas was over at the building today unloading pallets of merchandise to put into the store, and we have our grand opening at the end of the month, so we want to make sure that our product show is going to be really great for that when people start coming through at the end of March here.
Yeah, that's one question a lot of people ask me when they hear about your guys' businesses. Where do you guys find this stuff? Because it's just amazing some of the stuff that is in that Rustic Treasure store.
I would say every day we get that question, and guys, where do you get this stuff? And people from out of town just can't believe it. Is this your personal stuff? No, we don't own really any of it. There's a time or two we get a request from an estate, and they say, hey, can you just purchase out the whole house? So great, we'll make them a deal, we'll clean out the house, we'll bring it down. So there's a few of those kind of items here that in theory we do own, but otherwise it's all consigners. We've just set up a count, I think 2,482 today. And Deb said when she got back from North Dakota that she'd be surprised if we were at 2,500 when we got. So we started at lucky number 100 with a friend of ours, and are all the way up to 2,400. So 2,300 accounts later, here we are, almost 6 years later, and just a ton of stuff. So it comes from everybody. One person might bring one box. This morning we had 2 pickup loads come and another Yukon full of stuff, and we're getting ready to rehab the old stockroom here at the Ben Franklin building down here that we're in. And that was a little shipment kind of door that's kind of a dock door that's been boarded up, so we're going to reopen that up and have a hopefully a little easier drop-off process for those, even 1% of them dropping off in a day. We've got like 24, 25 people dropping off. So we have Tanner Shopke back there now. He's hired on as a full-time kind of pricer. He accepts all those goods in the back, make sure the numbers on them, make sure the good price is put on, and Deb's full-time us at the counter, and we had a couple part-time college kids continually merchandising all day long, and then Lucas and I are kind of floating between on the 4 businesses here. So
now, when you guys set a price on something, is that something you talk with the consignor on, or is,
it kind of happens different ways. So somebody might drop off our grandfather clock and say, "Hey, I really feel like this should be worth like $2,400 or something," and we'll talk about it and tell them it's a 50-50 split. So if they're cool with getting half that money, sometimes those larger items it's larger cuts, so they're not as willing to give up all that profit. But a lot of the times it's just people trying to get things out of their house that just are in the way. So even if it's just used Tupperware, Pampered Chef things, gadgets, and old mixers that still works, but maybe you've updated your model at home and somebody else can use it. But otherwise, we hit up eBay to see what stuff is sold for. And, we're always, we've done this for how many years now, and we've been open 7 days a week for the last 2 years. So every day that we're here is another day of experience on our shoulders of what things are going for, and then watching Pinterest to see what kind of new crafts and things people are making. And just in those how many years we've seen kind of ball jars come and go in and out, and different styles of crafting and things. So we just keep a very watchful eye on the secondhand market. Yeah, it's very fickle.
I would certainly understand that, and it just amazes me that with as many things as you got in there. I remember seeing one day I walked in and saw some old aluminum plates that were on the press at the Wayne Herald, and looked at the date on them. They were back from the 1950s, which really blew my mind.
And we actually took those over to 1912 as they're such neat advertising pieces. That consignor bought a farm acreage and found them in a granary, and I think the guy either got them from the Herald or maybe worked there, who knows, but he was pinning up holes. Your grain was falling out with them, and now they're pieces of almost antique history for Wayne from 1950s and 60s. So
it's really neat it was really neat to read some of those plates, because with my experience in the newspaper business and knowing how that process all works and everything, seeing some of those old ads and stories and how the paper was published back in those days, it was just a really kind of neat thing for me to see.
You don't see hand-drawn grocery store ads anymore.
No, not anymore. No, no. The days of cut and paste are physically cutting and pasting are long gone. So I know that the 1912 building is is up and running now, and I know that the Emporium part is doing really well, and I know that part of what you guys were hoping to do, and something that I think is going to be coming down the road is a local brewery.
Yeah.
That's going to be running out of one part of the building. I know recently Greg Potacek, who's currently the economic development director in Neely, is going to be leaving that post and coming here to take this over or to start this up.
Yeah, just kind of released that information yesterday. We've known, since probably around Christmas or sometime before. Lucas is in a community catalyst group that's put on by the Susie Buffett Foundation, and he met Greg through that and has been close connection with him for the last 2 years. And Lucas had mentioned it wouldn't be great to have a brewery in our downtown, that kind of destination kind of thing. And we had another party interested in the building. It just didn't work out for them. But then Greg had kind of heard that fell through, and he's like, well, I've been home brewing for the last 5 or 6 years. Very interested in bringing his 3 kids and his wife to town. And also just publicly on social media yesterday, he announced that he was doing it so we can finally put a face and a name to the whole story. People have been wondering, who is this? So it's great to hear in our community, 5 extra people moving in, buying a home, being part of our community. And Greg is, I think, and his wife too are both alumni of Wayne State College. Okay. They're in their 30s, a young couple, and 2 young kids. I think they even have a 5-month-old they're moving with them too, Liesel. Was just born. So yeah, we're really excited to have another young entrepreneur, and he is what you would probably say, like Lucas, kind of that serial entrepreneur. Like, this may be his first business, but may not be his last. So
but there might be a fight between the two of you to
get them in the same room at the same time. That's going to be dynamic.
Well, now, have you guys tried his brewery yet, or his beers yet?
Funny, much like coffee, I don't know a darn thing about beer, and I really don't drink beer much. But he did take some cold brew from our coffee shop to try out maybe kind of a coffee and beer mix of something. He's just trying some things. Like he's very inventive like that, and we're excited to see what he can do. And he's gonna be more in the dark beers kind of thing. So people who travel to the craft breweries, are going to expect that kind of thing. He's not going to probably a lot of light beers and things, but this will be more crafted, finer things. So Johnny Bird Brewing is the name of the company there. I think there's a family connection with his dad. I think there was a band that his dad had back in the day, and so kind of pulled that name. And so there's a family story there, and once people see the logo, there's a sense of Wayne in the logo. I won't tell you what it is, but in the logo there's something very specific to Wayne that you'll notice. So.
Now when will he be opening up a shop here?
He'll be signing a lease pretty soon here with us, here in March. He's given notice. I think he's working in Neely till May, so he'll give himself through the summer to get started. And I don't know what's sure going to be happening with him during the chicken show time. We'd love to have him open by then, but I doubt that it'll be full in swing by then. Probably some tasting, but I think definitely by Oktoberfest in September of this year that he should be open.
All right, well that'll be great. It'll be really neat to have, cause like you had said, that town or that building has set essentially empty or unused, I should say, for public purposes for so long. Even predating both of our rivals here, because I think you guys showed about a couple years after I moved here. So so it's really great to see that building's going to be put to use the way that you guys are doing it now, and the addition of the brewery will be really nice to have another business in the downtown area like that.
It'll be great.
Yeah, I guess kind of closing things down here with Mark Kanitz from Rustic Treasures. Mark and Lucas, of course, have really done a great job of doing their part to improve the quality of downtown, and I guess the one thing that just kind of blows my mind, and you don't really think about it until you drive down the street on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday, and it's I remember there used to be a time where Main Street was practically a desert on Sunday. There might be a couple of cars out in front of the White Dog, with the Sunday football games on and stuff like that. But other than that, it was nothing downtown. It seemed like
anybody from Wayne, if you just want to watch the oddest show, if you get here at 11:55 on a Sunday, you will see the cars start to line up, and right at noon, I think it was just maybe a couple weeks ago. The time change kind of threw things off this weekend, but 2 weeks ago, I was coming from 1912, getting things started over there and getting ready to open up Rustic at noon, and there was at least 5 different cars from 5 different counties, not in Wayne County, all people waiting to get in. So we probably could expand our Sunday hours a little bit, but I'm a church musician at Our Savior, so I don't usually get out there till 11, and then our staff, we're already working 6 days a week, and so to get those extra hours of Sunday, Lucas and I marry ourselves to those hours, but we don't expect other people to work necessarily as hard as us even on Sundays. But if you come down here on a Saturday, Sunday, take a look at those license plates and see where people are from. You'll be amazed. I wish we had a guest book for people to sign in. Yeah.
And I wanted to, guys, close things down. coming up on your 5-year anniversary this year, and like I said, the traffic here downtown is amazing. I guess when you think about, if you have a moment to think about everything that has happened for you guys the last 5 years with starting up the initial business and expanding to where it has, is there anything right now that you can think of that you say, you know what, I wish we could have done that different? Maybe hit the reset button on this and do that. Is there something that you maybe didn't expect out of this whole thing that...
The thing I didn't expect is how much we reset almost every day. We're checking in with the business, and we will tweak things every single day. We don't tend to let things sit if they don't settle with us right, or something's not working right with an employee, or the way a display is set up. We just change it. We don't wait around, and that's probably I love that best about us is that we're not sitting around. We're constantly moving, and people are always saying, like, you must have extra hours in your day, but you'll find us, after we quick grab a dinner, we'll come back and do some ordering from the new store, or do some quick pricing, or moving something around, or, tweaking something on social media to do some marketing on there. And I don't know what I would do to change it. I just, I would shake myself in that first year and say, this is just the beginning. I'm thinking now we might be sitting here another 10 years and saying, oh gosh, where were we in that first 5 years? And it's really taken off. So
has it exceeded your expectations?
Oh,
or?
By far.
Yeah.
Completely. Every time we open up another establishment, it just is amazing. A different market that we're kind of touching, and new people that are coming in, and we expect the same people who maybe come have a lot here, and the same people are going to 1912, or maybe or the same people at Thrift Warehouse, or the same people that shop at Rustic. Like, they're all different kind of demographics, and knowing that we deal with that, and then cross marketing has been interesting. Some people walk into Thrift Warehouse and say, "Oh, this stuff is too cheap. This I'm not interested," but they love 1912, or vice versa. So, it's totally taken us by surprise, and I think we're ready to hit the summer running. We just seen the drop-offs today, even with it having snowed this morning, and people are biting at the chomp to get things in here. So it's been a good traffic flow, things coming and going, and people coming in that front door. So
talking with Mark Kanitz from Rustic Treasures. Mark and Lucas Rix, as we said, built up Rustic Treasures and also Thrift Warehouse, 1912 Emporium, the Coffee Shoppe. Stop by any one of these businesses. You can kind of see the fruits of their labor. They've done a fantastic job in all 4 entities. And as I said earlier in the podcast here, the best caramel latte in Northeast Nebraska. There's not even, we don't even need to discuss it anymore. The best coffee in town. So, Mark, thanks a lot for chatting with us here on Voice of Wayne America this week. And of course, we probably should mention that the grand opening for 1912 Emporium next Friday.
Yep.
Official grand opening.
Friday the 24th, we'll have a ribbon cutting with the Economic Development Office. So, our local Wayne people will be there that day. And if you're not a fan of crowds, I would say don't come at that time. It'll be kind of nuts. I think we're gonna have the warehouse side where the fire trucks parked, where the brewery's gonna be going. Greg will be there to kind of meet people and put a face with the name now finally. So he'll be able to greet you there, and we might have more of the Chamber Coffee on that side and let people kind of shop on the other retail side. It's tight quarters in there, but if you want to come even after that, we're going to celebrate all the way through that Monday of the next week too. All
right. Well, good luck with that next week, and again, you guys have done a fantastic job here in the community. I know a lot of people are really happy with what they've seen out of what the businesses you guys have started up here, and hope for continued success for you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Voice of Wayne America here on WayneAmerica.com. Check back next week. We'll continue to tell the stories of the people who make this the best town in all of America right here in Wayne America. Have yourselves a good week. We'll see you next week here on Voice of Wayne America.